Yeah, well, they're just Chinese motherfuckers that are sitting in buildings in China. Doing absolutely nothing but copying games from Roblox over to BG.
Please don't give me a ridiculous number. 104. That's actually reasonable. Thank you, game. Out of any number you pick the number that would make me go up reasonable.
This is true, by the way. It literally is Chinese just sitting in a building doing nothing but copying games from Roblox to BG. From Roblox to BG.
As you can see, this blueprint caught me by surprise. That's right, this video is sponsored by War Thunder. And now you can realistic graphics and authentic sound effects to make you feel powerful war machines. Did I mention you could drive the Ed-Book around the selection of vehicles is definitely one of my favorite features of the game. You know what's free? The massive bonus pack for some of you. This is a link in the description. Anyone with a new account in the last 6 months game, which includes vehicles, the exclusive vehicle decorated for free. It's available for a limited time only, so you can get it for free on both consoles, so you have no excuse to not play. If you can still play War Thunder. It's available for both iOS and Android. It includes controls, graphics, and the familiar massive multiplayer warfare in dynamic ground and sea battles with air support. What the hell are you waiting for? Join the other 70 million players in epic PvP battles today and fight for your life in War Thunder for free. With an unmatched wealth of high-quality content to discover, there's simply no better game suited for the fans of military history. Okay, I have a plan. I'm going to swim over to this grassy windows like right here, put down my air pump, and then build pipes as far deep as I can, and then whenever it's starting to get really close to the time, I'm just gonna dive to the 100 meters. Just lay this. Easy peasy. All 5 of my pipes. I'm actually cutting it really close. Hold on. Oh, no, I'm cooked. I'm cooked! I thought this would be deep enough. If you won't immediately explode, I'm gonna pray that this works. I survived! Oh my god! Even though I survived, this explosion caused a terrible thing. You know what? Wait a minute, is that right? surface to set off my floating air pump, I would need a radiation suit in order to continue exploring again, which wasn't very difficult, but ended up taking the rest of the day.
You know what I mean.
Next, I wanted divers to build a laser cutter. Not only would it allow
Why the fuck am I lagging? Okay, bro, what the fuck, bro?
So, how are we gonna get divers?
Why am I lagging? Ah!
With the power airplane moving faster sea glide, I would have to surface very slow. And since it would be over, it was very unlikely I'd be able to surface. Number one. Perfect. Okay. Okay. We have what we the laser cutter. I would have to find more tools to materials. However, my brain cells start at the table. And from the table is the realization. Oh my god, how am I gonna patch up the Aurora if there's no oxygen? Is there oxygen on this ship? Probably not. At this moment, I thought, no way the game is gonna make me pump oxygen all the way through the ship with an air pump, right? And as I started experimenting, I realized, oh my god, I think the game is gonna make me pump air through the ship using an air pump. I still needed one more tool to fully explore the Aurora. Famously known for being
We'll just fuck.
Since I didn't have the blueprint for it yet, and even if I did, I wouldn't be able to fit it inside my lifetime. It brought me back to Pacific Base. Once I was moved in, I decided to find the modifications. And I was in luck, because right next to my base was a large shipwreck. It might have some more progress inside. Alright, anything over a shipwreck would be helpful, but I'm hoping I can find water, mobile vehicle bay and a battery charger. That's gonna be nice because now we actually have to charge the batteries. Alright, here's our first modification station fragment. 1 of 3, and they're forgiving with that one. Oh, that's the mobile vehicle bay done. Sweet. Where is the exit? I fumbled, didn't I? Oh yeah, I'm gonna make it out of this. GG's. Oh, I just made it out too.
No.
I've only managed to find one modification station fragment. Battery charger. However, since this wreck had nothing left to scan, I have to start searching for fragments and a different graphical dose.
Also, the reason why I asked you if you wanted to get on BG yesterday was because I was gonna attempt to do a base.
Yes, we have the battery charger. No, I should actually probably surface. Oh no, we're locking us
Tour.
I'm so happy we'll have to skip 3 months. I think the only reasonable thing is almost unreasonable how to do this problem. I just realized I spent way too long inside that thing. I go, if I carry in a spare oxygen tank or something, this is ridiculous. But the most not producing very much oxygen. It's like going a lot slower, but yeah, this thing sucks. Despite how this works, I'm just fast enough to keep me alive during the day. Taking myself with oxygen like this severe brain damage over time. It will keep me alive for the time being. Now, of course, there is nothing stopping me from swimming to the Aurora and taking care of the radiation. But I decided that it would be smarter to put SEMA first because, well, you are genuinely tripping if you think I'm swimming all the way there with stronger and more aggressive reef Leviathan. So, I began my search. Oh, huge! I see more! Yeah, might have been what we're looking for. Please tell me I can find like 17 more here. See, that's 3. Yeah, 9. We need to find 1, 2. We need to find 3 more. Literally, as long as I have this, like, oxygen pack on, I can just stay underwater forever. I can look these roads. But also, suppose the other stuff I have to do, it's kind of not broken. I guess it's ridiculous. Shut! Okay, I believe. Now, I believe I can find the last 2 parts in Aurora. The good news is the box.
Yeah, when. Yeah, you did, but it's kind of on a channel that no longer exists due to YouTube. Google.
What is this bullshit? You want my fucking kidney while you're at it? This would take forever to get all these samples. I decided to pull up my
Die,
for the Aurora without the sea line.
Ox, 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 up.
Oh, wait a minute. If you're confused about what happened, don't worry. And worst of all, I wasn't able to put back on my air pump. And since it's night, I had no choice but to wait till morning for it to Aurora. The sun came out, I was eager to get my hands on it. Batteries, check. Medkits, check. My ambitious attitude to get to this world, what it means, check. I was never oh boy, another radiation from my brain to over work. I'm looking at strawberry milk in my nose. Now you see ideal world, that right there is some awful baloney. With the radiation dealt with, I now want the surface. Which starts
Die, scum! Die, scum!
It was time to progress by exploring further and deeper, which meant it was finally
Die, scum!
At this point, I had most of the material for a couple of the plant samples, and the primitive blueberry. And since the closest biome to me was the blood kelp zone, go sweet, go sweet, where Go sweet! I just need one of you, and then I can get out of here. Oh no, bro, I'm not making it to the surface. Yep, this is how I die. GG's. I kept the ruby. That's something. Alright, I'm gonna try to swim right above the trench, max out my oxygen, then dive from there and hope for the best. Alright, set that up. Alright, I'm ready. I think that's... Oh my god, yes. Okay, sweet. Now, close the hat. Almost there. Shit. Yeah, don't keep following, okay. Oh god. I might be hooked. Okay, I think he's leaving me alone. Okay, I got him safe. We made it. Let's go. Alright, hopefully now is...
I'm infinitely dead. My Wi-Fi died.
I loaded up the rest of my inventory.
What? No shit. The Wi-Fi died. Anyways, I found Gear Komodo's little brother. Gear's little brother on BG.
Resources, then stop by the mushroom forest nearby to scan some blueprints. Now there are 3 blueprints I can find here. Oh, there's one already. But what I'm looking for is the Cyclops Bridge, the hull, and the moon pool. What I really want here is the moon pool, just so I can charge the Seamoth easily. But it would also be very nice to get some of the Cyclops parts out of the way, since we're already here. Also, I do need the bioreactor blueprint, but I should be able to find one on my way back. Yes, moon pool done. Alright, I didn't find the bridge fragment, but I got everything else. So I'm just gonna head home before something terrible happens. Actually, I almost forgot. We gotta go find the bioreactor blueprint. Go find my dress.
Gear Komodo.
Yeah, there's a wreck right there. So.
Gear Komodo.
Oh, wait, no, those are fire.
Gear Komodo.
Scaring me in the face. Alright, now we go home. Home, sweet, motherfucking home. With everything acquired, I was finally able to build the Seamoth. Alright, now we go home. Home, sweet, motherfucking home. With everything acquired, I was finally able to build the Seamoth. Oh my god, bro. This shit is so expensive. It's so hard to get this. Oh. Of Of course I want to give you a fucking power cell, because why would it give me a fucking power cell? Ah! I hate this game, Chet. I hate this game. I hate the creative. I hate everything right now. After gathering some extra materials, I decided to expand my base by building a moon pool, a multi-purpose room, and a bioreactor. Then I decided to finally take the Seamoth out for a spin. Oh, let me put in the upgrade module real quick. Wait, I drain energy by leaving the Seamoth? Man, now I'm really gonna have to think about, like, when I exit. Oh my god. And I'm burning through the power, too. Like, that 6% disappeared like my dad would when I turned 9. What happened to my health? I ran into, like...
I think you died.
Oh, thanks! The first place I wanted to explore with my squishy submarine was the Jelly Shroom Caves. Deep in this biome is an abandoned Degassi base with many useful blueprints and abandoned PDAs with important information. Careful, because the craft snakes in this biome were able to do massive damage to my newly crafted sub. Oh, that's damage. Oh, that's massive damage. Oh my god, that's even worse. There. Oh my god. Oh, thank god. Okay, left. Alright, I'm just gonna try and regain everything as fast as possible. Those jellyfish? I'm afraid of them. Like, they already do a lot of damage in, like, the normal game, and in this mod, everything has been doing more damage, so I think these things will one-shot, especially at this health. Alright, sweet. Now all that's left is the surrounding fragments around this Degassi base, and then we can leave. I'm gonna check my Seamoth first. I feel like the crab snakes have been fiddling with it. Nope, alright, we're good. Oh, it's attacking it. It's attacking it. Chat, I want to kill it so bad. I want to kill it so bad, but I am not trying to die in this hole. That's gonna be huge. Power cells are very fucking expensive. Of course it takes that many parts. Why wouldn't it take that many parts? Alright, let's get out of here. Ooh, let me repair my Seamoth real quick. What? I can get the bends like that? Jesus. Swear to God, Chad. If I go over there and I see the Seamoth explode, there's gonna be a new section on Wikipedia under hate crime. Okay, it's fine. You're thriving even. The next thing I wanted to get is a vehicle upgrade console. This would allow me to get more upgrades for my Seamoth and personalize it to my liking. There are multiple places you can get this blueprint. However, I decided to go to the Sparse Reef location since I wasn't ready to see my Seamoth get shredded by all the wildlife. Gonna focus on time capsule? That isn't it. Wait, no. Aw, that's some bullshit. I don't know where to find that Sparse Reef wreck. I'm at 60 now. I can realistically only like leave this one more time before it's a problem. Oh, okay, here's the wreck. Moment of truth. Supply crates, power cell charger fragment. Just need 3 more of those. Reinforced dive suit. Not what I was looking for, but I'll take it. Is it here? Yes, we can go home.
Ain't no way I actually fucking hit that.
Low on diamonds and lithium, which are necessary components for a couple of my future projects. So, I decided to go to the mountain biome and strip the caves clean. But not before giving my Seamoth a complete makeover. Behold! Squishy. I named it that because this vehicle is so goddamn squishy that it basically crumbles at the first sign of opposition. Okay, to the mountain caves we go. Oh, wait, shit, for some reason I thought this was the prawn suit. Alright, let's patch this up. Be back. Stand back. I will weld you. Beware, creatures. It is I, Mono Welder Aurelio. I am the welder. When 2 teenagers go to the woods to do nasty things, they tell stories of me, the one who welds. I weld them together permanently. Then they walk to school, and then everybody laughs. I spent a good bit of the day snagging everything in this cave until my inventory was stocked, like the lunch lease section of a supermarket. Right.
Bruh.
As fast as I can.
I'm not sure if that was a lunch lead joke. But if it was, nice.
On my way back from the mountain, I stopped by the wreck of the
Like,
building underwater.
joking on lunch lead, because, man,
Grapple arm, and the Cyclops engine.
ain't nobody gonna be eating that bullshit. I think everybody knows this by now, but
Stop by base and just
whatever.
These are the Nuance Audio glasses, and they're not just stylish, they actually help you hear better as well.
No.
Home inspector, contractor food. All kinds of pros recommend Leaf Filter. Why? Taught by stainless steel micro mesh, Leaf Filter is in
I have 100 fucking chests. I don't need any more.
As I was putting away on my resources, I realized that the only other places I knew that had bridge fragments were the back end of the Aurora and the mountain biome, which are both homes for the leopard-colored assholes. Now, at this point, I was doing very well. I felt confident that I could survive a Reaper attack with my current equipment. However, if I ended up losing the Seamoth, it would be a tremendous setback. So, just to be safe, I decided to upgrade all my equipment, which resulted in me crafting an ultra-high capacity tank, 4 batteries and power cells, a hull upgrade, and a Seamoth parameter defense system. But I ended up getting carried away and even expanding my base, making room for another bioreactor. And now we have more power. Now, theoretically, power should not be a problem. Theoretically. Too bad I'm terrible at making them theories. This is it, guys. I'm as ready as I'll ever be. Alright, let me go test out this defense system. Alright, I think I have it selective, and I think I decided to go to the mountain biome route, since I'd be able to possibly find fragments for the stasis rifle, nuclear reactor, and prawn suit on top of those bridge fragments. Alright, I'm seeing a lot of fragments here. I have a good feeling about this. Any stasis rifle fragments anywhere? Oh, I'm cooked. Oh, I'm cooked. Oh, I'm cooked. Oh, I'm cooked. I made a mistake! Yes! Help! You don't want me. You don't want me. I'm gonna go back.
Bro still has a crush clash. That's actually kind of insane. How the fuck do you get cross clash? It's cross clash, you fucking dumbass.
Oh, thank God. Okay. Yeah, we'll go search somewhere else. Have we spawns on here? I never knew that. Oh, I'm dead. Oh, I'm dead. Oh, I'm dead. Why is my brain so goddamn smooth? I want to say the Seamoth is safe, but I also don't want to lie to myself. Squishy is not dead. Squishy will survive. Hopefully. Alright, Squishy, I'm almost there. Come on. I just need you to hang it a little longer, alright? Whew. Okay. We're fine. Despite getting 2 new blueprints, I was not a single step closer to getting the Cyclops. However, I was being told by chat that I could find bridge fragments at the Sea Treader pad, a biome more harmless than my girlfriend's husband. Are we gonna cut through the dunes because I'm lazy? Yes. But it's not also because I'm lazy, it's because I'm cool. See guys, I told you we could do it. Look at us, all safe and sound. The Leviathans know better than to mess with Mono Aurelio. Despite it being darker than the entire story of Berserk, I managed to find all the fragments I needed. Alrighty, moment of truth. I'm terrified to see the results, but... Shit. Hey, back home before we back and see. Oh, look guys. I don't want to look. Okay, maybe it won't be that, but maybe it won't... Now, you might be wondering, Mono, why are you reacting this way? It's not that much different than the regular price. Well, it's because of this requirement right here. Nickel ore can only be found at the Lost River or deeper, which is a really big problem since I can't dive that deep without an upgraded Seamoth. But I can't even upgrade my Seamoth because the module also requires nickel. So I had to find some way to dive 600 meters deep and resurface with no vehicle and without dying. Luckily, I had the perfect plan. Setting up the air pump above the entrance, then making a ridiculously, comically large oxygen pipe system. Alright, that's the last of it. I set up a beacon so that I could easily find the pipe, then began my descent. However, this is where I ran into another roadblock. Personal crush depth, return to safety depth? I did kinda hear about this. I think we need to make like a reinforced dive suit. Oh, what I could do while I'm just down here, quickly grab this. Okay, yep, this should be all the uranium I need. trying to slow my ascent, but I'm not gonna lie, I really don't want to be down here any longer, game. Do you blame me? Look at where I'm at. Tell me this is a great spot to be. And we made it. Lovely. On top of making a reinforced dive suit, I decided to use more titanium to make the pipeline even longer. I guess you could call this a pipe dream, guys. Okay, because, fuck you. Yeah, you underestimate the possibilities of humanity, alright? Give us a problem, a pack of Newport, and a deadline with some money on the line, and American will figure out how to make it happen. Yeah, for those of you judging me right now, I don't have a plan B, alright? If this doesn't work, I'm cooked. I'm done. I don't know how to solve this problem. Oh, we're in, chat. Chat, we're in. I was in a little too hard. Oh, I don't have any heals. I gotta be real careful. Okay, we need to find nickel as fast as possible. However, I've always reported the struggle to find a nickel with mine because it's one with them all.
I can't see.
Because every time I complain about
When I cannot see, I'm legally blind.
something, it becomes significantly easier.
Wait,
So, like nickel, super hard to find, can never find it. It's a stupid resource that blends into the walls like a chameleon. I only found the one nickel, but I'm running out of options, so I think I'm gonna take myself even. Upon reevaluating my situation, I have realized that I have left a little too late. I have a solution, and it's called more pipes. This has definitely expanded a lot longer than I initially anticipated. Once I had enough nickel, I realized that I was running critically low on health. So I decided to try and make my way back to base. And I specifically say try because I ended up making a horrible mistake. Alright, good news is that all I have to do is follow the pipe down and we should find the resources. Okay, here we are. And once everything was recovered, I went back to base to keep up the nickel, build a water filter, then make even more pipes. I know I could probably build the Cyclops right now, but I am having way too much fun with this Looney Tunes plan. Also, I do need to get more crystalline sulfur in order to get the last depth upgrade for the Seamoth. Oh my god, bro, leave me alone! Alright, crystalline sulfur. Where are you? You're not sulfur. You're not sulfur. I was finding crystalline sulfur quite easily, but I was still super stressed out. I was surrounded by many formidable threats that I had no protection against. However, things got much more stressful when I opened my inventory and saw this. When I picked up the beacon mixed in the pipeline, I forgot to put it back down. I have no idea where it is. Okay, well, I remember a waterfall, and I also seen it on the Oh, yes, thank
Damn.
God we found it. Yeah, we hit the air very Looney Tunes. No. I will fuck you up.
Brothers.
Play. Come here. Oh, no.
Fucking hate people, bro.
You've been nothing but a fucking annoyance this entire time. No, I don't care how many times it takes. Oh, you're gonna hide in the fucking gas? Oh my god, he's gonna hide in the gas like a little bitch. Oh my god, he's mocking me. Just wait. Come back up to the surface. I'll stay here. I'll wait. I got my little oxygen dispenser right there. Yeah. Oh, you're trying to get me to get the beds. You're trying to get me to get the beds, huh? You slick. You ain't slick, buddy. Yeah. Look at ya. Dead. It was him or me. Right? It was him or me, and granted, it was not gonna be me. Hey, buddy, let's just take a look at what's in my hand. And think about your next actions very carefully. Yeah, that's what I thought. Ouch. Oh my god, I'm thankful I got away with it. At least I know where my items are. See, I want to bring Squishy, but Squishy is Squishy, and I really don't want to have to get all those parts to build another Seamoth, especially when I'm going through all this trouble just to get a Seamoth depth module. Oh, yep, sweet, found it. I managed to get back home, but I was greeted with an unfortunate circumstance. No power. Of course. Turns out that my bioreactors and solar panels aren't enough to power my singular water filter. Now, I could build more of them, but they were proving to be very inefficient for building up power, which left me with the most expensive, but most efficient power source in the game. Nuclear energy. The cost of making a nuclear reactor in this mod is 2 plasteel ingots, 2 advanced wiring kits, 8 leads, and 4 nuclear reactors, which, broken down into raw materials, is a lot. But after a full day of grinding, I managed to build a multi-purpose room, the reactor, and the rods to power it. Full nuclear power. I mean, it's kinda going up. Now the question is, the second I turn this water filter on, what's gonna happen? Wow, I still don't have enough energy. It wasn't perfect, but it was good enough for now. However, in order to build my Cyclops, I would need even more resources. But with the resources I had left over, I was able to upgrade my CMOS jet module to the max. And once it was installed, I hopped into my CMOS and began my very long resource haul. Since I'm heading out anyways, I want to use this trip to get the last few Consu fragments as well. The only places I feel like they could spawn are the more dangerous areas in the game, so like the mountains, the dunes, maybe the Grand Reef, I don't know, but I'm gonna have to check if we can't find any. Bro, that spadefish put a dent in my CMOS. Holy! I have a strong feeling Squishy is gonna die on this trip. Alright, first shipwreck. Let's see what we have here. If we were to find any Consu fragments, I feel like it would be on the inside of the shipwreck. Hopefully we find something on this. On to the next wreck. Sea Treasure Path? Actually, since we're here, let's go ahead and get the resource grinding out the way. Okay, here we are, the dunes. This wreck is a little smaller than I'd like. I don't know, there might be a Consu fragment in here. Let's just check. Oh, that's huge. That's another thing we needed. Is this the last one I need? No, we need one more. Okay. There we go. It seems to be all that is here. Looking at my power, it looks like I can only leave the CMOS one more time before we really gotta get home. Squishy's health insurance. Oh, fuck! Oh, fuck! Shock! Okay. Squishy's fine. Squishy only took 25 damage. And if it wasn't for my negligence, it would have been a lot less. Okay, so I probably have about like 100 power left in this thing, so as long as it doesn't drain 100 power from me getting out of it, we should be fine. 42, not bad. So, but yeah, we cannot waste any energy here. I am currently seeing a whole lot of nothing. Reminds me a lot of my bank account, actually. Alright, let me just juice this out for a second before I switch tanks. Chat, I fumbled. It's fine. It is not fine, but it's fine. Ooh, I'm nervous, chat. We're just gonna go drive right above Squishy, and then just plummet down, drive down. Alright, it's showtime. I'm not gonna lie, anxiety is kicking in, because I just realized, like, where I'm at. And, like, I Reef can come RKO me from, like, anywhere. Hi, Squishy. Fine, back to exploring. Yep, wow. Wonder what happened over here. Grab that, what's that? Cyclops ship. That's useful. We need that. I know that. Not only to beat the game, but CMOS or Cyclops is probably going to be just as squishy as the CMOS. Yep, I'm starting to think that we're not going to find a Consu fragment here either, guys. I mean, since I'm close by, I could try the Floating Islands wreck. I know you could find arm fragments there, so maybe we could find a Consu fragment there. I know I checked it, but maybe we missed something. I'm running out of ideas, so I don't really know.
The most strategic move is the one that meets the right moment. That's the difference between playing the game and changing the game. Movado, always in motion since 1881.
What are you doing up there?
Oh, I'm just posting the number of visitors to the Homes.com network this month. It's become the go-to home shopping site.
Got another 14,000.
What?
Gotta go back up. Oh, 17,891.
Just hand me some commas and zeros.
Plus 7.
What?
That's sweet. 25,000 more. Any reason why you didn't just go with over 100 million or even a billion visits a year?
Homes.com, the place to find a place.
Yeah, the wreck was stripped clean. But at the very bottom, I did find the stasis rifle blueprint, so it wasn't a complete bust at the very least. However, since my inventory is full, I'm just gonna go back at the house and depot everything real quick. Once I unloaded the CMOS, I grabbed all the resources I needed, then went to finally build my Cyclops. Yes! Finally! Oh, she's so beautiful. However, my high morale was very short-lived. I have to make cookies! I have to make 6 goddamn fucking power cells. Why? There's gonna be so many resources. After bankrupting my resource supply, I was able to make the power cells and bring power to my Ocean Gate catastrophe waiting to happen. Okay, well, we have the Cyclops. We're ready to rumble. Actually, I'm gonna make the modules first before I start driving this thing around. Over the next couple of days, I collected as many resources as I could, then crafted the Cyclops shield generator, engine efficiency module, and I even built another nuclear reactor. Yeah, if 2 nuclear reactors isn't enough to power my water filter, I think I'm just gonna start drinking my piss at this point, because this shit is getting fucking expensive. And with the modules installed, I decided to go out and finally find the last prawn suit fragments. Oh, that motherfucker is dead. Oh
Is the event over?
So the first place I want to search is
Question mark.
Source Reaper. And the fastest way we can get to that biome is through the news. Now, I know this place is packed with Reapers, but I'm pretty confident that if I'm very aware of my surroundings, everything will be fine. I'm hearing things, right? Oh! Oh, I'm chasing it! Nah! Okay, we're gonna stop. We're gonna do this. We're gonna go really slow. Right, it doesn't see me. It doesn't see me. It doesn't. It doesn't see me. It doesn't. It doesn't see me. It doesn't see me. It doesn't see me. It sees me! Chad, it sees me! It fucking sees me! Hi! Fuck off! You know what? Keep fucking with me. See what I'm trying to do? The fucking abyss that kill us both, asshole! It's just following me at a brisk pace! Yeah, that's what I thought, bitch. Alright, I think we made it. I'm really hoping that we find a prawn suit fragment in here, because if we can't find one, then we might not be able to get one in this entire playthrough. We just need to find one more. Alright, the next wreck should be around here somewhere. I'm getting stressed, and a lot of the stress is coming from the fact that I don't know how strong this vehicle is. I don't know if it'll be able to withstand a Reaper attack. That's right, you little asshole. Stay right there. You don't see the big old thing going through the water. So I know I was at this wreck a lot earlier in the playthrough, but I only really scanned fragments on the outside before I was escorted out by a Reaper. So there is a very good chance that the final prawn suit fragment is in this wreck. Shut! We won! Woo! Moment of truth, chat. We had this cancerous-ass grocery list, and we also had this cancerous-ass grocery list. Let's see what the prawn suit costs. That is not that bad. That is the most reasonable blueprint I think I've ever seen in my life. Let's go home and cook that bitch up. Boom! I just remembered I need to make power cells because this is a quirky little game. Right? I'm having so much fun, chat. I'm having so much fun. From here, I built 2 more power cells, the drill arm, then realized that I had made a huge miscalculation. Oh my god, will it fit? Oh no. Alright, so until I move my moon pool, I won't be able to charge or color my prawn suit. But I also have a power cell charger on my base, so it's not really the end of the world here. I spent the rest of the day gathering resources to build the grapple arm. And with the prawn suit fully upgraded, I took it out to stockpile every important resource in the game. The first resource I want to load up on is salt, since I'm probably going to need many more batteries before the end of the 100 days. Let me see what's here. Oh, that's what's here. Oh, chat, I'm cooked. I am cooked beyond belief, beyond recognition, beyond medium rare. I am cooked every single way imaginable. Cooked, seared, flame grilled. Oh fuck! Shit! Get off of me! Ah! Let go of me! I'm so fucked. I'm so fucked. Let go. Okay, I could maybe survive one more of those, but I want to survive no more of those. So we're getting the fuck out of here. Oh my god, I'm heading towards another one. I'm heading towards... Loot box time. Let's see what we get. Oh shit! Potato chips. Ooh, and some coffee. My anxiety is cured due to stress eating. The anxiety is back! The anxiety is back! Okay, if I hide between the rocks, you can't reach me, right? Yeah! 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 I'm using the environment to my advantage, bitch! Oh no, I just realized I have no more environment to abuse. I no longer have the environmental advantage. Time to use my speed advantage. And now we're caffeinated and shitting our pants in fear. It's a great combo. It makes things a lot more vibey. I just realized how much salt I have. I think it's time to go home. Behold, the Overwatch 2 locker. Get it? Because it's filled with salt. It's just salt. It's completely salt. I spent the next couple of days gathering copper and lithium, then started making my way down to the lava zone to farm kyanite. However, as I tried to dive deeper, I hit another roadblock. Whoa, 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 why is that number red? Personal depth exceeded, return to save depth? What? Now, this had me stumped. I couldn't bring my prawn suit down there since it was way too deep, and I couldn't craft the depth module either since I need kyanite for it. But there's no way to get kyanite until I could bypass the crush deck. So, there was only one solution. A ridiculously comically large oxygen. I'm kidding. What I actually did was go to the mod page, where I learned that some of the wildlife could help me overcome this challenge. So, I started smacking everything in sight. It's gotta be one of the animals in this biome, right? I got something! Shit! I got river prowler scales! Okay, we need to go back to base now and get this crow. After upgrading the dive suit, I started to move everything into my Cyclops and redesign my base so that I could actually properly dock things inside my moon pool. And once I restocked with all the titanium I used, I made my way back to the Lost River. So here's the plan. I really want kyanite, but I found out that there's an oxygen tank that replenishes when you're in extremely hot water, which is something I need because I'm in hella hot water with the IRS. But in order to craft it, I need a resource called thermophile, which I imagine I can get from smacking another creature around the lava zone. So I'm gonna prioritize that resource so I can explore easier down there, but I will take any kyanite I see. Yeah, if I have energy on the way back when I pass this, I'm gonna try to explore and see if there's any, like, cyan cubes or anything in there. If I think there are, I'm gonna park it right here. Kyanite time. I'm gonna put one stray blue crystal. That would make my life so much better. They're more aggressive, they're more aggressive, they're more aggressive. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. I overstepped my boundaries, I know. I'm leaving! I'm leaving! Oh my god. Dodge? Dodge? Am I crazy? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Shit. I'm alive. I'm alive. Yep, I learned my lesson. I'm going back home. At this rate, I actually might need to risk defense. Oh my god, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. Chat, I'm actually cooked. How far away is my prom suit? Holy shit. Chat, I'd be lying to you if I said I was confident in actually traversing all that space in that short amount of time. I might be able to do this, but I literally can't, like, get distracted for 1 second. He's gonna fuck. Okay, he's on me. Oh, God. Okay, looking at my oxygen consumption, I think we're fine. Alrighty. You know what? Yeah, I got time. I'll just poke my head in and say what's up. I'm huge, don't mind if I do. We will be fine, chat! We will be fine! See, I'm leaving now. It was a very quick detour. Very small detour. We're literally fine! I'm waiting for us to travel 300 meters. I think we got it. Okay, we're gonna stop on. See, we're fine. We're fine, I think. There we go. See, we had it all along. Let's get that crunchy. What are you? It took her 48 days to say that, chat. Back at base, I built the heat-powered O2 tank, then got a brilliant idea while moving the last couple of modules into my Cyclops. I just realized once I get the Kyanite, I'm gonna need to come all the way back to base just to build a module on the vehicle upgrade console. Or actually, wait, hold on! Chat, I just need you to trust, okay? Okay, you're ready for these big brain plays. What you're about to witness is nothing short of genius. Nothing short of the human brain being used at 200% maximum capacity. For our plan, we will still need Kyanite though. I am in danger. I am not safe here. Oh my god. It's going for me, bro. I'm good. Okay, he's backing up. This is my chance. Need to figure out where the fucking thing is. There it is, chat. Okay. Alright, this is the easy part right here. Look at that. Easy Kyanite. Alright, let me refill my oxygen right here. Hey, buddy. Oh, you can do that! It's illegal! Alright, back to the Cyclops. You did it. You fucking did it, boys. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna yoink the module real quick, pray that the Cyclops doesn't break, quickly upgrade it, and put it back. It's fine. Yeah, we're fine. Oh, 1,300 meters now. Great. Now, chat, it is finally time for my tremendously high IQ play. Chat, follow me to this. You see, chat, by doing this, I no longer need to swim all the way back to base to build the prawn suit module. I can just do it right here and continue exploring the lava zone. Oh my god, it worked. Chat, it worked. To upgrade it, we have all that chat. Alright, back to the lava zone. Hold on, I'm gonna be smart. I'm gonna remove most of my power cells so the purple guys don't drain all my power. I'll leave one for now, just so my Cyclops still has power. I have one goal in life. It is to get Kyanite and grab all the blueprints of the alien base. Which I now realize is 2 points and, your mom. So far, Kyanite mining is going smooth. Alright, I got what I need. Onto the blueprints. Boom. Okay, we're gonna go back to Crunchy, make another tablet, and then we're gonna go visit Squid Mama Leviathan. We're doing good. We're doing great. I'm gonna land on the suit. Oh my god, I don't think that thing exists anymore. Yep, it's out of power. Why wouldn't it be? It's power back on. Okay, I'm gonna try to find one nickel ore. It's gonna be that hard. And there we go. Now we can craft the Cyclops upgrade. I got sniped by a warp. Oh, I have my stuff though. Sweet. Craft this. Alright, time to commence Operation Rescue Currency. Alright. Hello. I've been so stressed out for so long that I don't even know how to properly stress anymore. Alright, let's go to the Cyclops. Please don't break. God. I'm a little concerned. Do I have any writers on me? Oh my god, I have friends. We have been hosed in every way, shape possible. And now, I think it's safe to say I'm doing the hoeing for the most part. I spoke way too soon. Oh no. Oh, okay, my health is fine. Oh my god. Oh, okay, we're going sideways. Oh no. Yeah, okay, my health is fine. Is it gone? Okay, I think it's gone. And here we are. The active lava zone. Wait. I don't like that red number. But I'm gonna pretend like I didn't see that. Alright, if we just stick to the ceiling and Spider-Man this shit, I think we'll be fine. Yep, we made it nice and easy.
My wife and I went to Slumberland in search of the perfect mattress, and it did not go the way that I thought it was going to go. We entered the sleep solutions department, and I looked at all the beds, and I thought, we're going to be laying on every single one of these pieces. I was shocked when my wife, laying down on only the second mattress that we had laid down on, instantly said, this is it. This is the one. We love this mattress, and I just can't believe that it's already here in our home. I don't know what magic you've got going on over there at Slumberland, but for the sake of all of us weary shoppers who just want to make a decision, thank you. Yes, we did it.
So I've been trying to quit nicotine for like about 10 years, and every time I've tried
What?
Anything that I missed? I've been doing it by myself.
What do you mean?
I'm putting the last little close in, so if there's anything I missed, I did a pretty good, thorough look through.
No.
Okay. I love you! Eat your fucking Lunchable, dude.
It was my comfort blanket.
1 on 2
especially
hours.
with social
Eat it.
anxiety. What helped me actually get there was
Chad, did you see that? Oh boy got launched! Alrighty, Squid Mama, I have arrived. Oh my Jesus. I need to get out, please. Please, it hurts. I'm sorry. I understand my mistakes. Please. Oh my God. Okay, I thought I was actually gonna die in the way. So I'm going back in. I'm sorry. Homeboy was spawn camping. That's terrible. Alright, I imagine we're gonna need another dive suit upgrade. And I also imagine that we're gonna need to get it the same way we got it last time. So, I'm gonna start smacking things. Maybe? Yep, that's what I needed. Alright, I have everything except for the synthetic fibers. And for that, I'm gonna need kelp vines and blood oil, I believe. I guess we'll start by heading to the blood kelp zone. Hi there, buddy. How are ya? It's gonna hurt. Part of me thinks that wasn't exactly what I would call the best idea. Okay, hold on. He kind of hurts. Buddy, move. Buddy, move. Hey, buddy, excuse me, sir. Okay, now hold on. This is actually a really bad situation I'm in. I gotta lock in. Alright, I'm gonna wait till I'm
How's he
actually
like it?
safe before I start preparing.
There you go.
Because I feel like if I get out now, I'm actually just gonna get sucked into oblivion. Okay, almost to safety. Oh my God, now of all times. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna slap that. I'm gonna get out here real quick. We're just gonna start. Oh no! Oh no! 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 This is not a good situation. Oh! It pushed the Cyclops into me. Please don't die. Please don't die. Please don't die. Please don't die. Pressure, stay with me. We're gonna get you patched up. You're gonna feel so much better. Buddy, chill out. Buddy, chill the fuck out! I said chill! Nah. You wanna be a bitch. You wanna be a bitch. Alright? I see. Look at you. Stupid. Stuck in place. I will sit here for as long as I need to. Oh, wait, wrong button. No, get back here! There we go. Right back to it. There we go. You hear that, chat? It's the sound of silence. And a threat being removed from the waters. The masculine urge to sit down a bottle of vodka and drunk the Cyclops. I'm just saying though, in retrospect, Squishy kind of lived up to the name. Once I got all the materials and upgraded my dive suit, I made my way back to the lava zone to talk with Squid Mama Leviathan, mass collecting every resource along the way for any future projects at hand. I am praying that the Cyclops does not break anytime soon. I have spent literal hours grinding for resources, and if this Cyclops breaks, then that's hours of progress lost. I'm starting to get a little hungry. What do I want to eat tonight? Oh, fuck. We're fine. Grapple, swing. Doesn't see me. It sees me. Chat. I think I'm fucked. Grapple. Huh. Okay, good. Hello. Lady, I'm just here to hatch your eggs, ma'am. There we go. And now let's see what these hatching enzymes are going to cost us. Drum roll, please. Oh. That's easy.
Previous account though.
Trying to get up here because they never fucking added a ladder or a ramp or anything. I opened all the portals, gathered all the materials, then went back to the Cyclops and crafted the enzymes. Alright, let's go hatch these eggs. Rise, my glorious children. And with my
Getting any armor or weapon that's OG is hard to do nowadays.
something unexpected happened. So yeah, from here, all I need to do is
Sorry.
start making the Neptune rocket. Oh fuck! Did that one shot my? Oh,
What's
that's no good. Oh fuck! I'm getting out of here. I'm not losing 2 vehicles today. Oh my god, I'm so screwed.
dude, I don't have any
Almost out of here. All right, I think we're safe. Although I think
thing that costs G cubes. G cubes.
No way. What? Where'd all my lockers go? It even deleted my modification station. What? Okay, wait, so I at least have... Okay, at least have these. That helps some. Yeah, what I dealt with was actual robbery. My shit is gone. I tried my best to stay calm on stream, but in all honesty, this was absolutely devastating. Hours of progress lost unrighteously in a matter of seconds. I felt resentment growing in my heart for the fire-breathing alligator squids, but through my pulsating rage, the only thing I could coherently think was, I'm not gonna let them get away with this. But before I could plan out my revenge, I needed to build myself back up to where I was. I was originally dreading this grind. However, on my way out of the lava zone, I was hit with a ray of hope. Oh wait, seed shredders! Hold on. We can actually recuperate right here. Oh my god, seed shredders, thank you so much. You've literally changed my life. Your mom's face is recommended, lady. We are so back, chat. We are so fucking back.
I don't have a mom. Well, womp womp to you too, fuck.
Around my base for the last couple of materials, I was able to build my prawn suit in just a couple of days.
I know.
Prawn suit, I need you to like do the physics. I need you to do the gravity. There we go, thank you. Okay, I need you to stop doing the gravity for like 2 seconds, please. I then loaded it into the Cyclops and drove it back down to the Lost River, where I made the upgrades and once again started mass collecting all resources. Alright, I think I have everything I need to craft the run. And once I have it crafted, I get to go on my little secret evil plan. Oh wait, hold on, I just realized. Oh no. No. Oh I'm fucked. Oh, I'm so fucked. Oh, I just barely dodged. Okay, made it. It's still after me. Please grapple. You failed me. Throw the needle. Okay.
I so fucking thought I had another one of those.
Generate some of that air pressure.
Hang on. Hold up.
Oh my god,
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, count your fucking days. Count your fucking days. Alrighty. Hi. I'm gonna swim right under you, alright? Yep, don't mind me, I'm just a friend. Unless you wanna end up like your brother, I advise you just mind your business. Okay, so far so good. Oh, that's a problem. Full speed ahead. Oh my god, dude, it's on my tail. It's tickling me. Okay, thank god it's leaving. Alright, time to dump my resources and get my revenge. Huh. This is the one problem with having a big base. If you have a breach, bro, cooked. Okay, here's one. Oh, that was it. Weird. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. Look at it. It's so large, it's so majestic. Moment of truth. Wow, it's literally the same price as it would be for the regular one. Okay, and since the rocket wouldn't take too long to craft, I decided to postpone it for now and finally get my revenge. Here was the plan. Much earlier in the playthrough, I built an alien containment unit and started hatching chaos. And since I left them alone for many days, they ended up breeding. So, since I have a massive supply of explosive fish, and a Leviathan whose life subscription needs to end, I decided to try and use a propulsion cannon to launch the fish at the sea dragon, theoretically making an underwater bazooka. Oh, it's showtime, baby! Yeah, remember me, asshole? Dodge real quick, oh, almost got me there. Shoot this. Alright, let me scan you real quick. Huh, would you look at that? It says right there, you're missing. Alright, let me make sure you stay frozen in place. Ow! I see. Hold on, let me pop this real quick. I got something for your ass. Guys, I forgot to pack the crash fish. Alright, this time I have the crash fish, I swear. Look, I have it right here, right? Look at it. I don't know if it'll be enough, but it'll get us somewhere. I'm back. Alright, let's see if it works. Let me drop you right here, my thing even work? Okay, it works. Hey, come back! As you can see, this plan was proving to be very inefficient. I couldn't actually grab the crash fish until they were already targeting something. And even if I could get them into that state, it was very difficult to run around and grab them while trying to keep the Leviathan frozen in place. So I had to resort to a more European plan. Yep, we're bringing the gas back, boys. Yeah, give me this shit. And once I had enough gas pods to fill an entire football stadium, I made my way back to the lava zone for a third time. Alright, Sea Dragon, today is your day of reckoning! You'll regret the day you trespassed upon me, Mono Aurelio! Now stop it! Drown in the toxic gases that I spread upon ye! Yeah, ow, that hurts. Yes! Oh god, yes! With the sea dragon dead, I was filled with a wave of bliss. But for some reason, it felt like it wasn't enough. So, I killed another one. And another one. Bringing the entire species into extinction. I definitely felt a short burst of joy, but it didn't last. And with the joy fading, I felt a craving for death. So, I started killing more Leviathans. I found myself chasing a high that was constantly running away from me. But before I could realize the toxic loop I was in, the damage was done. I ended up killing every Leviathan in the game. The ecosystem has been completely disrupted. There were no more threats for me to face. Nothing to accomplish. Nothing to conquer. I grew bored and depressed, so I thought maybe I could fill the void by adopting a pet cuttlefish. However, my animalistic instincts got the best of me. Bye-bye, have a good time in the abyss! The depression worsened. I threw away the only thing in the world that I loved more than myself, my prawn suit. So, in a desperate attempt to salvage my happiness, I drove my Cyclops into the abyss to save it, where I was G-checked by a bunch of ghost Leviathans. Chad, do you think it's too late to turn around? And with my Cyclops destroyed, I had basically lost everything. So, with nothing left to do, I finished building the rocket, packed it with as much lube as I could, and left. On day one.
Bruh.
Hold on, we're not even done yet. So, I now face a tricky dilemma. I don't want to leave now because I feel like I would be cheating the challenge. However, I have no idea what I'm going to do for these last 10 days. Floater ball pit! It's something I've always wanted to do, but just never had the time to. So, I guess this is what we're doing now. Hold on, watch this. 360. Nailed it. This is probably a bad idea, but when have my ideas not been terrible? Alright, I'm out. Let's go get some more. Look at the progress I've made so far. I've spent days on this, but look at the progress I've made. Bro, I swear, I just feel like they're being deleted. Oh, what? Oh!
Aww.
Maybe the ball pit, the floater ball pit was not a good idea. Don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna stop anytime soon. But I'm now starting to recognize that this was not the smartest thing I could have done.
Oh, that means I should do it too.
My game ended up crashing on day 97.
Oh, the recording's still
My
going.
save point was on day 92. Almost 2 hours of my life completely wasted. Since I can't do floater ball pit anymore, I am resorting to plan B. Now, as you know, this video is my 100,000 subscriber special. So I decided, what's a better way to end the last few days than to make a monument just for you? Yes, you, beautiful internet person you. Because after all, I can't have this number without the support of all you guys. It took an unreasonable amount of titanium, but I built a long titanium pipe and filled it with lockers, naming each one of them after the people who changed their PFBs to my logo on stream. And now, allow me to present to you the Hall of Giga Chads. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you. Wait a minute. And by the time that was finished up, it was finally day 100. This is the last, hold on, we're gonna swim. We're not even gonna use the turbine, we're just gonna swim. Just take a nice good look at the ocean one last time. We started from a broken down life pod, not being able to breathe oxygen on the surface, radiation hurting and melting my brain into strawberry milk. We have survived all of that and have gone to this point to where I have conquered all of the oceans, killed every leviathan, and even rickrolled in ways that were completely unimaginable. It is finally time! Victory and 47 deaths and 100 days.
Warning, planetary defense systems activating in 3, 2.
Wait, what?
This is your reminder to sign up and play.
Bruh. It's
Which includes premium vehicles, Eagle of Valor, 100,000 Silver Lions, and 7 days of
Bruh.
freedom. Join now to dominate
Bruh.
accelerating vehicular warfare. And don't forget to like and subscribe to help Mono respawn faster.
Epic Black Friday deals are back in Menards. We have great deals and great gifts like appliances, tools, decor, and more. Be there or be square. Hurry in for Menards Black Friday.
You power through so much every day. When your body lets you know it's had enough, make time for some.
You know, I made that 100 Days in Hardcore Subnautica video almost 2 years ago now, and I think it's about time to give that video the sequel it deserves. So today, I'm going to be trying to survive 100 days in the frozen world of Subnautica Below Zero. During this time, I've also set myself 5 goals to make things a little more interesting. Number 1, I have to fully complete Below Zero's main and secondary storylines. Number 2, I have to gather enough resources to build myself a mega base with everything I could ever possibly need. Number 3, I have to collect the 8 music discs scattered around the map. Number 4, I have to collect and hatch one of every creature egg. And number 5, I have to descend all the way to the bottom of the void and live to tell the tale.
What?
Can I do all of this in 100 days without dying once? Well, there's only one way to find out. Day 1. I got inside of my small ship and headed for the planet's surface, using a meteor storm to help hide myself from any Alterra surveillance. This might not have been a good idea, though, as my
Fuck
ship was
you.
one of the meteors, detaching my drop pod and causing me to spiral out of control. Luckily, I was able to land safely and got out just before the ship exploded. Before heading to the drop pod, though, I decided to search the debris, as any supplies I got now.
Welcome to 4546B. Enjoy your stay.
I made my way through the narrow pass and jumped into the water for the very first time. My first order of business was getting to the drop pod, which would offer me basic storage and access to a fabricator. But even on the way there, I couldn't turn down the chance to do a little resource collection. I broke a few outcrops and gathered some ribbon plants, which I could use to make batteries later on. Eventually, I made it to the drop pod and used the fabricator to cook some food and make myself a scanner. I was then notified that a supply cache had been detected nearby, and decided it would be a good idea to check that out. On the way, I was incredibly lucky to find all 3 sea glide fragments, which made up for the cache itself being nothing special. I got back to the drop pod and took a moment to admire one of my favorite parts about Below Zero, which is just how darn pretty this game is.
Nuh-uh, it's ugly as fuck, bruh.
Forest to grab some creep vine and use the resulting lubricant to craft a sea glide. Day 2, I crafted a knife and wanted to make an
I crafted a fuck.
To do that, I needed some fiber mesh, so it was back out to the Arctic kelp forest to use it. Thankfully, the sea glide made the trip much easier, and I was able to get some more resources while I was there. I then came back and made the O2 tank, giving me an extra 30 seconds of air. With the sea glide and an O2 tank, I felt a little more confident to start searching deeper, so I decided to check out the Arctic kelp caves in hope of finding some better fragments. The first cave I searched didn't really have much, but the second one was a lot better. There were some crash fish that tried to ruin my day. Might have to reconsider my feelings on not totally hating them, but I was able to get some fragments, including the mobile vehicle deck. Before I went back to the drop pod, I decided to have one more look around, and the caves gave me some gold as a part of it. I then went back and listened to some of the voice logs while making a compass and an air bladder. With nothing much else to do, it was back to the Arctic Kelp Cave. On the edges of the twisty bridges, though, I heard what sounded like a distress call, and my suspicions were confirmed when I scanned an artifact that gave me its location. It was still a bit too deep for me to explore, though, so I grabbed some table fuel and called it a day. Day 3. I came home, made some food, and a new battery for my Sea Glide, since the old one was almost dead. I went back to the twisty bridges and found my first sea truck fragment, along with 2 PDAs. I raided another Altera cache before heading back to make another battery and a waterproof blocker. With my inventory clean, I returned to the twisty bridges and decided to explore a very deep foundation. My risk paid off, and I found a data box with the blueprint for the rebreather. I already had most of the stuff to make it on hand, so I decided to just do that when I got home. With no more oxygen penalty for going below 100 meters, I now felt I was ready to explore the distress call. Day 4. I decided to make today
I'm a fucking sell that.
With the aid of my new rebreather, I began exploring, and eventually made my way to the distress signal. From there, I followed the green pillars into an underground alien sanctuary. A voice beckoned me to move forward, and while I can't say I'd do this in real life, I obliged. I learned that whatever was in this green cube needed to find me home fast, lest the facility's power run out and it get deleted. Being a courteous individual who definitely doesn't put rocks into snowballs before throwing them at innocent second graders, I offered my PDA as temporary storage. But apparently that wasn't good enough, because he decided to just laser himself into my brain instead. After recovering from that ordeal, the voice in my head introduced himself as Alan, a precursor who got separated from his network around 1,000 years ago after the Corral broke out. He could get himself out of my head if I made him a new body, but given my lack of resources and his lack of knowing where anything remotely useful was, neither of us were really in a position to make that happen at the moment, so I just left the cave and sort of carried on with my life. In my exploring, I found a small abandoned base, which gave me the blueprints for the habitat builder and an upgraded O2 tank. I then headed home, had another conversation with Alan, and began some upgrades. One of these was the habitat builder, which allowed me to start working on a small temporary base. Not only would the base itself use up some materials, but I could fill the inside with lockers to help alleviate my storage. Day 5. I finished getting the materials for a fabricator and battery charger before moving all my stuff into the new base. At last, it finally felt like I was getting situated. I then headed off towards the Delta Station dock. While I wasn't collecting any materials to save inventory space, I did keep a lookout for sea truck fragments, and was eventually able to find the other 2. I then arrived at the dock and started scanning stuff. But as I started to make my way further up, I got an ominous message from a woman who didn't seem to take kindly to my existence.
This is a recorded message. If you can hear this, you're trespassing. If you know what's good for you, you'll get the hell out of here.
I dealt with this situation like I deal with all my problems, which meant I ignored her and kept exploring. I found some crystalline sulfur in a few caves, before the same lady jump-scared me in a souped-up prawn suit. After telling me to go away again, she left, but I was able to track her last known location. I'd worry about that later, though, as I was almost at the top of the island. Once I was there, I reached the Delta Station, and began scanning literally everything in sight. The sun began to go down, and I regretted having not made a flashlight, but I was still able to get everything from the base and check out the communications tower before the day's end. Day 6. I started back down the island, but didn't head directly for the...
I just now realized in Subnautica, just like the first one, you're completely alone. The only other person you have that talks to you constantly throughout the entire hellish nightmare that is called 4546B is your PDA. Oh, and the random ass logs of dead people from their life pods.
I knew there was a cave somewhere on the island that had a lot of gold, and I wanted to collect some before leaving. It took a minute, but eventually I found the cave, mined up some gold, and made my way back down. I got the location of an alien artifact, and began collecting stuff for the modification station, repair tool, flashlight, and sutra. I made the repair tool and flashlight, but didn't have quite enough for the mobile vehicle bay, so I headed back out again. While I was trying to get a piece of quartz, I got wedged under an iceberg, which made me really glad that Devs added an unstuck button. Once I got free, I made it back to the base, and in the stormy dying minutes of day 6, I made my siege truck. Day 7. The only thing I still needed to make a modification station was a diamond, so I headed down to the deep twisty bridges to get some. I reached my siege truck's depth limit, so I had to leave it at 150 meters and swim down the rest of the way. I initially grabbed some diamonds near the upper reaches before venturing into the main chasm. I definitely got a bit overconfident though, but I wasn't really paying attention and got cornered and almost swallowed by a squid shark. But besides one other minor scare with a spiky trap, it did pretty well. I pushed deep into the cave and was able to find some diamonds, gel sacks, and the odd piece of lithium.
Dude, you already asked me.
I wasn't planning to get them at the time. I also scanned the blueprints for the sea truck fabricator and storage modules. Then I made my way back to the sea truck, repaired it, and got the heck out of there. When I came home, I made the modification station, and I wrapped up the day by collecting some more materials and scanning the odd thing or two. Day 8. I decided to make some story progression and began searching for the alien artifact. On the way there, I found another Altera cache from which I promptly stole, and was able to get the blueprint for the Pathfinder tool. I then made my way down into the Arctic Health Caves. It was here that I got the blueprint for the laser cutter, before eventually finding the artifact at the very bottom of the cave. Well, it was definitely a bit uneasy being this far into a cave without a vehicle. There ended up being enough oxygen plants.
How do you have that many?
On my way out, I even found the blueprint for the propulsion thing, which I decided I'd make after realizing how cheap it was. So once I got home, I made it, alongside a laser cutter and a Pathfinder tool. Day 9. I was looking to do some more exploration, and luckily there was another Altera site nearby. So I traveled out towards the Delta Island in search of the copper mining site. I circled around the outside of the island, eventually finding a large hole leading down to the mine's entrance. The gate was a bit too narrow for my sea truck, so I left it outside and made my way in. I found a data box with the blueprint for the wind tool before descending into the heart of the mine. I managed to get the blueprint for the thermal plant and even found 3 or 4 prawn suit fragments. There was also a locked supply crate, but since I left my laser cutter at home for some reason, I couldn't get whatever was inside. As I pushed deeper though, I began to get a little nervous. There were oxygen plants, but not nearly as many as I was expecting. Nevertheless, I reached the bottom of the mine and made my way back out with around 30 seconds of oxygen to spare. I came back home and tried to make the first depth module for my sea truck, but I was still missing 1 lithium for the flat steel ingot, so I shelved that idea for now. Day 10. I was beginning to outgrow my starter base, so I started looking for somewhere to set up a more permanent shop. I found a spot close to the Delta Island that I liked, but I forgot to bring a beacon, so I left my sea truck there as a marker and swam back to get some resources. I came back and started building, but eventually ran out again, so back to the drop pod I went. I repeated the cycle once more, but eventually ran completely out of supplies, so most of the rest of the day was just spent on resource collection. Finally, as I was storing some items in the base, Alan found the location of another artifact. Day 11. I decided to go ahead and look for the artifact since it wasn't super far away. It was somewhere under the thermal spires, When I tried to search for small fissures, I quickly realized just how bad of an idea that was, as I ran out of first aid kits and could easily get burned to death. So I decided to put a pin in that idea for now. Instead, I headed around the Delta Island into the purple vents and collected up some lithium for reinforcements. I then went back to base, crafted up some glass, and resumed construction. I got the hull integrity back over 1 and started at
Allie, why are you flexing on people?
well, I collected stuff like the solar panels, building
Like,
6 in total.
seriously,
I then
bro.
repaired all the holes and
He's gone.
There was still a lot of work to do, but with power and a fabricator, I could at least work on transferring the remaining stuff over. I began work on the storage room, went out to collect some more titanium, and found another Altera cache literally within viewing distance of my base. This one was better than the rest, though, as it allowed me to get the blueprint for the outdoor grow bed. Day 13. I collected some more stuff for the base and began to work on sorting out the storage situation. After that, it was back out for another resource round. You know, it's funny that after you get the blueprint for something, you seem to find tons of fragments for that thing, because it seemed like I was getting Seatruck fragments all over the place. After that, I went back, built a couple of grow beds, and started moving the rest of my stuff out of the drop pod. Day 14. I finished bringing everything over and planted some creepvine, ribbon plants, and gel sacks in the outdoor grow beds. I added a vehicle upgrade console to the moon pool and crafted a heads-up display chip for my scanner, so I could actually see where all my resources are. I docked my Seatruck and gave it what I thought was a very fitting name, along with a brand new paint job. Day 15, I started working on the other half of the base. The first things to be added were a bed and a jukebox. At the moment, I don't have any on, but that would certainly change. I built some more decoration, and at last, the place was starting to feel like home. I went out and grabbed some fish for the aquarium, before deciding to take another run at that artifact. As I was about to leave, Alan found the location of yet another artifact, but I decided to just focus on getting the other one first. I followed the signal and ended up finding the artifact in a small offshoot of the Copa mining site, which was the other place I thought it might be. I came back home and went to the observatory to round out the day, before getting to sleep in my own bed for the first time in 2 weeks.
Boring gum. Fancy gum. Icebreakers.
Bruh.
So our wedding's in a couple of weeks. I just needed to tell you this face to face.
Oh, don't say it.
You're gonna be.
All veterans and their families can join Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
And what kind of milk?
Oat milk. Depression's more than just sadness. My doctor told me there are multiple symptoms. I don't enjoy the things I used to love. I feel guilty, upsetting, low energy, trouble thinking, concentrating.
Day 16. I crafted some water, then set out towards the pile of glass milk signal in hopes of finding my estranged
Whoa.
friend. I also made
Other.
a note to check out the artifact if I could chance. I found a
Burp.
fragment of the Mercury 2, which definitely have to come back to that later, and made my way into the lily pads. However, I was definitely pushing the limits of what I could do with my current equipment. Since my Seatruck could only go down 150 meters, I had to dive the rest of the way and just kind of hope there would be enough oxygen plants for me. Initially, I didn't find much other than a couple of fragments, but as I pushed deeper, I eventually made it down to a large sea base. Here, the owner introduced herself as Margaret Maida, a Mongolian emissary who'd been living on the planet ever since her ship crashed 12 years ago. She wanted to get Altera off her back, and offered me information about my sister in exchange for disabling the communications tower on Delta Island. And with no one else on the planet to turn to, I agreed. I scanned everything I could, getting the blueprint for the test override module amongst some other things. I also managed to pick up the Seatruck perimeter defense module, which would be very useful going forward. I then made my way back up to the Seatruck and equipped my fancy new upgrades. And since I was already in the area, I decided to search the sea monkey nests for the Seatruck horsepower and afterburner upgrades. I found some useful fragments and some less useful fragments, but ultimately my equipment wasn't quite up to the job, so as night fell, I made my way back home. Day 17. I arrived home early in the morning and decided to dedicate much of the day to making upgrades. I got the materials for and crafted
God fuck damn it!
Afterburner, increasing my speed and depth. I then made my way out towards the next artifact, which, if it was the one I thought it was, then I definitely was going to need that for a minute. My suspicions were correct, and I carefully made my way past the collision into the hole where the artifact was. I scanned it, and this gave Alan enough information to find the location of the first body part. I was gonna leave, but decided to just go ahead and get it since it was so close. The signal took me into the deep lily pads cave, but without any nearby oxygen plants, I wasn't gonna be able to get that body part quite yet. So I decided to search the nearby cave with the hope of getting some of the blueprints I still wanted. Day 18. I continued searching and eventually found the Omega Lab. Well, it wasn't on my immediate to-do list, it was still a good find, and I was able to get several useful blueprints. I learned that this is where Altera conducted research on the Kara, but at the time I think I was more excited about finally getting plant pots. With half of my Seatrix power remaining, I kept searching, because I really wanted to get the blueprint for the ultra-high capacity oxygen tank. It took most of the day, but I eventually found what I was looking for. Then I made my way home, only to realize I never turned off the scanner room, and I spent most of the rest of the night just sorting materials. Day 19.
I have to move all of this one block over.
Then I got some lunch and looked to make the Seatrek depth module MK2. The recipe was relatively simple, but the synthetic fibers required spiral plant clippings, and I only knew of one place to get those. So I made my way around the Delta Islands until I saw the water start to get a bit more purple than normal. This was the edge of the tree spires, and from there I descended into the heart of the biome. I made my way inside one of the massive vent gardens, an oddly tranquil place given the chaos outside, and harvested spiral plants to my heart's content. I then made my way back home and crafted the depth module MK2. This brought my Seatruk's crush depth up to 650 meters, more than enough to get the alien body part. Day 20. I set back out towards the deep lily pads cave, and this time I was actually able to take my Seatruk all the way down there. I grabbed some of the flowering spores as I knew they were useful in benzene, and headed down. After getting lost for a couple minutes, I eventually found the alien sanctuary. I scanned the skeleton and got the first of the 3 required blueprints. I then made my way back out, went home, ate some fish, and went to bed. Day 21. I headed out towards the next artifact, which took me to the Glacial Bay. I stepped out onto dry land, and for the first time was forced to really contend with the cold. I tried to get the artifact, but the bridge leading over to it was damaged. I could fix it with some hydraulic fluid, which I could make pretty easily, but I'd still need to go all the way back home to do so. So while I was already in the area, I decided to try and explore a bit of the Glacial Bay. I picked up a signal for the Fly Robotics Center, which I followed, eventually leading me to the base. I got the blueprint for the spy penguin before making my way inside. Here I got some more blueprints, posters, as well as information on the bacterium experiments. I wanted to explore further, but it was dark and my inventory was full, so I decided to just head back to base. Day 22. I crafted a spy penguin remote, and hydraulic fluid, before setting off back toward the Glacial Bay. I repaired the bridge, but for some reason I couldn't quite find the artifact, and hearing the distant roars of an ice worm, I didn't want to push too far into the Arctic spires. So I went back, thinking maybe I missed a passage around the glacial basin. I also wanted to try and get some snow stalker fur to make a cold soup, but this is when I realized I'd made a huge mistake. I'd forgotten to bring any flares, which we used to deter snow stalkers, so when one started to attack me, I had no choice but to run. I left the cave and headed what I thought was back the way I came, but in the confusion, I'd unknowingly gone the wrong way and was actually pushing further into the biome. To make matters worse, the sun was going down and a storm had started, causing my heat to go down even faster than normal. I realized the gravity of my situation and tried not to panic. If all else failed, there was a nearby crevice to jump down into and warm up. When I did start to use my backup plan, only to learn I couldn't actually fit through the hole. I realized my only chance of survival was going back to the cave I came from, but I didn't have enough heat to make it back. Just as only a few seconds from death, I remembered I picked up a few fevered peppers in a cave earlier on. I ate them and they gave me just enough heat to make it back to the cave. I decided to hole up in there for the night, and now in relative safety, was able to use my spy pangolin to get 4 pieces of snowstalker fur, which would be enough for a full cold suit. Day 23. Just happy to be alive, I waited for the sun to rise and made my way out of the cave and back down towards the water. I figured out where the alien artifact was and realized I could have easily gotten to it from the water this whole time. After scanning that, I went back home, and the very first thing I did was make a cold suit. So something like what happened last night could hopefully never happen again. I decided my next order of business would be to explore that fragment of Mercury 2 that I found a few days prior. To help out with that, I wanted to make the Seatrek storage and fabricator modules. So I spent some time getting all the resources, retrieved my mobile vehicle bay from the drop pod, and made the 2 modules. Day 24. After docking my Seatrek, my fabricator module got bugged and wouldn't connect to anything for some reason. It then proceeded to explode when I lightly tapped it, which was kind of annoying, but I pressed on. I connected up the storage module and made my way out to the stern of the Mercury 2. I found an entrance and began exploring the ship. I tried to find the entrance to one final room. Day 25. I kept searching and eventually found my way into the room, receiving a PDA, nutrient block, water, and titanium ingot from the troubles. I then got back in my Seatrek and made my way over to the bow section. This part was much larger and guarded by some creatures, so I made sure to be extra cautious in my approach. I entered through the prawn bay and found the final blueprint for the prawn suit drill arm. Then I got the blueprint for the reinforced dive suit as well as the alien containment unit. I made my way up onto the bridge, collecting my first music disc and scanning the final fragment in the parallel processing unit. I decided to keep exploring and was rewarded when I found a supply crate with Chinese potatoes. Eventually though, I got what I felt like was everything important and went back to my Seatrek. Since it was so close, I decided to continue my expedition by checking out a nearby artifact. I scanned it and Alan pointed me in the direction of the next body part. It was somewhere in the Arctic Spires, which I wasn't quite ready to explore, but it was still good to know. I kept poking around and found a small Terrasite. This wasn't the most useful, but I did get the blueprint for the booster tank, along with some Uraninite. I then made my way back home and began unloading equipment. After sorting everything out, I filled the hole on my crafting wall by building a recyclotron, which will let me deconstruct most things into their base components.
Have you had your Hershey's?
We have 4 days to save our planet.
Watch Begonia at home now with exclusive bonus content.
The film has that sort of insanity and commentary.
Today.
We'll hang late.
You only have so much time. So feed Science Diet with our clinically proven antioxidant blend, helping pets live healthier as long as possible.
Day 27. I wanted to rebuild the Seatrek fabricator module, and while I was at it, I decided to go ahead and make the reinforced dive suit and parallel processing unit as well. I went out to collect some lead before making the latter 2 items of the fabricator. I then used the FMC to make the fabricator module, and stowed some useful equipment inside. My next mission would be to head over to the Delta Island and disable the satellite tower. And since this was my first time ever using it, I decided to test out my new cold suit as well. I reached the island, and while the weather was by no means bad, the difference in temperature reduction was definitely noticeable, which meant exploring the Glacial Bay and Arctic Spires would now be a lot easier. I made my way up to the tower, only to be reminded that the parallel processing unit is just an ingredient in the test override module, which was the part I actually needed. So I begrudgingly swam back to base, made the module, and came back. Day 28. I made my way back up the island towards the communications tower, and Did I seriously leave it in my sea truck? Okay, back down the island to my sea truck, then back up to actually turn off the tower. I plugged in the module, and that sent the tower into test mode, broadcasting the all clear to anyone who might be tuning in. I got a call from Marguerite, who offered to meet me in her greenhouse, and I decided to take her up on the offer. The greenhouse was about 1 kilometer east up on an iceberg, so I got back in my sea truck and headed for the East Iceberg Zone. I arrived and found what I thought was the right iceberg and began my ascent. It wasn't the right one, but although I couldn't see it, I apparently found another artifact while I was up there, so that was nice. I then swam over to the next iceberg and found oversized bones and light sticks, a much better sign. I made my way up to the greenhouse, spoke to Marguerite, and got myself a couple PDAs along with marble melons and a couple more blueprints. Day 29. I decided to poke around the bottom of the icebergs to see what I could find, but the tunnels I chose didn't really go anywhere. While I was there, though, Alan did find the location of another artifact, so I decided to explore that. While I was on the way, I found the third section of the Mercury Sea. It was by far the smallest, and took me all of 45 seconds to explore, but I did get some resources and another music disc for my troubles. The signal led me down into the deep purple vents, which was good, as it was an area I'd been meaning to explore. I scanned the present, docking module, and found the artifact. It didn't seem to so that was pretty useful. I kept exploring since I really wanted that docking module, and after almost driving straight into the crystal caves, I found the last fragment. Day 30 was all about crafting. I gathered some materials and made the sea truck docking module. However, this wouldn't be any good without a prawn suit to actually dock, so I started getting the resources to build one. This took a little bit, since I had to go out and get some more lithium and lead, but eventually I had everything I needed. Day 31, I made the prawn suit, but a prawn just by itself isn't very useful, so I set out to get this thing the upgrades it deserved. I made a drill and a grapple arm before getting some glass to make a depth module. Once I was done, I still had one piece of lithium left over, and since I didn't have any other upgrades, I decided to just put it towards a storage module. Day 32. I wanted to test out all of my new fancy equipment, so I loaded up my prawn suit and headed around to the other side of Delta's Island. On the edge of the tree stand, I used a new drill arm made up from copper and titanium. I also made sure to get a decent amount of quartz, since I was always seeming to run low. I did have a bit of a run-in with a chelicerate, but we were able to peacefully settle our differences and move on. Then I went back home and sorted out all my newfound riches. Day 33. With all of my sea truck modules, that trip had taken a pretty long time, so I headed out to the deep lily pads to try and find the last fragment for the sea truck horsepower upgrade. I made my way down into the caves before realizing I hadn't actually gone to see Marguerite since visiting her in her greenhouse. Now that her pet Snowstalker wasn't blocking the doorway, I was able to explore the rest of the base and get a couple more blueprints. I left and kept searching for the upgrade, but for whatever reason, the Subnautica gods just weren't on my side. I even revisited the Omega Lab and found myself just circling the entire biome with no luck. But I pressed on, and just as the light was starting to break on day 34, I found an unscanned sea monkey nest with the fragment I was looking for. I then proceeded to find another fragment almost immediately after, because as we've already established, that's just how Subnautica works. As great as it was, though, I did need to get home. I was fresh out of water, and spamming my sea truck's afterburner was not doing my power any favors. Eventually, I made it back and crafted the horsepower upgrade, making my sea truck ever so slightly more nimble. I then docked my prawn suit, giving it a cool color and a new name, before catching some bladderfish, turning them into water, and going to bed. Day 35. I decided to take things in a different direction and work on another one of my goals. I knew there was a music disc somewhere in the purple vents, so I decided to try and find it. I first made my way into the deep purple vents, thinking that's where the disc was. I found a fragment for the Sea Truck Sleeper module, which I completely forgot existed up until this point, along with another alien artifact. From this, Alan figured out that one of the body parts was very deep and surrounded by crystals, which meant it was more than likely in the crystal caves. I continued on, scanning the 2 remaining sleeper fragments, before eventually finding the disc back up on the surface. I then headed next door to try and find another disc in the sparse Arctic. As I was going along the glacier wall, though, I found an opening, and realized it was the entrance to Outpost School, the last of all terraforming. I wasn't planning to look for it this early, but I wasn't just going to pass it by either. I made my way out of the water and was almost forced to turn back due to a storm. My cold suit was still in the storage module back home. But as I rested by a thermal lily, I saw the base in the distance and made a run for it. I got inside as night fell and began exploring the facility. I got the multi-purpose room glass dome, some lantern fruit, but most importantly, several PDAs. One from Sam confirmed that she planned to neutralize the bacterium, and that an antidote had been stashed in a cave not far from the site. Day 36. I left the base and followed a right path to the left. It brought me to an architect's facility, which admittedly wasn't super useful at the moment. I made my way out, seemingly as the weather got bad once again, ran down the frozen river and back into the water. I did keep looking around for the disc, and it wasn't long before I found it. It was at a site I'd already explored, so I must have just missed it while I was there. I then made my way back home and sorted out all my stuff. After that, I decided I should probably start preparing for the Crystal Caves. So I cut some leaves off my Preston plants and combined them with fever peppers to make spicy fruit salad, arguably the best food in the game. And just in case that wasn't enough, I caught a few fish that I could always cook in a pinch. Day 37. I set out for the Crystal Caves, but only got around 200 meters before realizing I forgot to bring any extra power cells. So I went back home to remedy that issue and set out for real a couple minutes later. I made my way down to Marguerite's base, but this time I wasn't stopping to say hi. I continued on and tenaciously entered the Purple Cavern. I made a beacon to mark the way out before I got too far in, and then kept going. I was looking to mine some of the large kyanite deposits, but I quickly hit the depth limit for my sea truck and realized my prawn suit wasn't going to be able to go much farther. So I removed the drill arm and started grabbing the small kyanite pieces from the relative safety of my prawn. I also scanned a couple of propulsion cannon arms, but at this point I think that's the last thing anyone cares about. I got a bit more kyanite and transferred everything back to the sea truck, then I headed for the exit, just happy that nothing had gone wrong.
Are you sure about that?
Perimeter defense is absolutely overpowered, and I was able to make my way out safely. Day 38. Although I now had plenty of kyanite, the crafting recipes for both the next sea truck and prawn suit depth modules also included nickel. I had hoped to just grab some in the Crystal Caves, but I wasn't actually able to find any down there, so I decided to head back to the only place I'd gotten it so far, which was the Deep Lily Pads cave. Even so, the small gray rock was pretty hard to spot at first. A smart person might have just used the mineral detector, but my last 2 brain cells didn't think that at the time, so I was stuck with my good old-fashioned eyeballs. I started getting harassed by a squid shark, so I did something I don't do all that often, and really gave on After resolving that issue, I kept looking for nickel, which I actually started to get pretty good at spotting. I gathered enough for both depth modules alongside a couple extra and headed back to my sea truck. I made it back home, unloaded all my goodies, and set to making the depth modules. This maxed out my vehicle's crush depths at 1,000 and 1,100 meters respectively. Day 39. With my sea truck mostly recharged, I prepared to head back to the Crystal Caves and hopefully find the next body part. I sneaked my way back into the caves and went deeper than I'd ever gone before. Eventually, Alan said we were close, and I made my way into the Crystal Castle. I followed a path into the facility and was able to scan the architect organs, which left me with just 1 body part remaining. I had another run-in with the Shadow Leviathan on the way out, but the rest of the trip was without issue. Day 40. Since I had just done a lot of exploration, I wanted to take a break and work on something a bit different. Since one of my goals was to hunt every single creature egg, I thought it'd be cool to have a dedicated base where I could keep all the creatures. So I spent the day getting some resources to build a base. Day 41. With materials in hand, I set out to build a new base. Normally my next thought would be finding a good location, but I already knew right where I wanted to build this.
Why? Why did I do this? Why?
But but I'd never actually gotten a chance to try it out in a playthrough. So once I had everything I needed, I took my seed truck and headed straight for the tree spires. You can't actually start building from inside the vent garden, so I started building the base up from the ground nearby. Once I got high enough, I was able to start building inside, but then I ran into a bit of a problem. You see, to have enough space for all the creatures once they hatch, I was going to need a decent amount of aquarium space. My plan was to just build 2 alien containments inside of a large room, but it took me all of 10 seconds to realize that wasn't going to happen. So I shifted gears and tried making a base with multi-purpose rooms. But I was still having a really hard time getting something with enough space that didn't look completely terrible. Day 42. I continued my battle within the confines of the vent garden for most of the day, but eventually I was forced to accept that there just wasn't enough room for what I wanted to do. However, I still wanted to build something here, so I came up with another idea. The tree spires is one of the most resource-rich biomes in the entire game, and being right in the center of the biome, a base here would be a great spot for a scanner room. So I modified the design a bit, went back home to grab some table coral, and added in the scanner room. Day 43. With the outside done, I went in and started adding in all the decor. I decided to power the base with the bioreactor, and I planted some fevered peppers so I could top it off with.
Hang on.
Finally, I added in a few other decorations and got the place how I liked it.
Subnautica, 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 Subnautica. I need to check something.
So this didn't take too long. Now ready for some more exploring, I decided it was time to go to the Arctic Spires and find the last body part. So that's what I began gearing up to do. I made a few water purification tablets and grabbed some food. For transportation, my plan was to use the prawn suit since it would provide me with warmth, shelter, and a decent amount of extra storage. Speaking of which, I had one more upgrade slot in my prawn suit that wasn't really doing anything, so I added in one more storage module and put some of my extra stuff inside. I decided to only tow the docking module to the glacier basin for the time, so with not much else to do, I connected up my sea truck and went to bed.
Nerds W clusters. Unleash your senses.
It's not down here. Oh, yes, it is down here.
Bailar.
Bailar. Yo bailo.
Bailo con gracia. Bailo como si no hubiera una mañana.
Take the next step
The
in
fuck?
treating your moderate to severe ulcerative colitis with Entyvio, the only gut-focused treatment for UC.
No.
Day 45. I made my way over to the glacial bay, found a small ledge, and took my pontoon onto dry land. I crossed the bridge into the Arctic Spires, and was very glad I didn't have to worry about freezing in the whiteout conditions. I made my way through one of the narrow passes and found a small mining site. From there, I explored one of the ice worm tunnels, which, while tight, was just large enough for the prawn to fit through. I kept going, finding a couple more supply crates, before running into a massive supply of ion cubes that I promptly mined. I pushed on as the sun went down and ran into some snow stalkers, which again made me very glad to be in a vehicle. Day 46, I found another alien facility. This one had a teleporter, which, given my newfound abundance of ion cubes, I promptly activated. I went through and it connected me to the base over by Phi Robotics, which was pretty cool. I went back through and explored a path off to the back left. There was a weird elevator, and at the bottom was an Altera setup where I found Taste to Die, another jukebox disc, and my personal favorite. There was also a dock above a tunnel that seemed to connect back to the glacial bay, but I didn't really have the equipment to explore it right now. So I went back up to my prawn suit and rejoiced at the nice clear weather, which lasted all of 5 seconds. I kept going, getting a message that I was getting close, and eventually I reached the end of the clearing and made my way down into a tunnel. Here I found the mining site with the final body part. After scanning it, I mined up some more ion cubes and prepared to leave. I made my way back down to the Glacial Bay, but since I was already in the area, I decided to try and locate the frozen Leviathan site that Sam had mentioned. I hopped the gap between the Arctic Spires and Glacial Bay, and made my way over to Fire Robotics. Day 47. Once the lights started to come back, I began my search. I started by looking to the right of the facility, but all I found was another entrance to the water. I then went left and made my way into the heart of the glacial basin. I found a dock in the middle of a large clearing, and since it was one of the things on my map, I used it as a frame of reference while I explored. I started searching some caves, and one of them turned out to be a snow stalker den. I got to pet one of the babies, but eventually its parents showed up and I had to leave. Just as the sun was going down, I found the entrance to the glacial forest, which I knew from my map was the right spot. I found the radio tower and made my way into the cave to the left. To the right path, I found Parvin's bunker, the home of the site's former security guard. There were a few posters, but for now I couldn't take them since my inventory was already full. Day 48. I left the bunker and made my way into the frozen Leviathan cave. I found Sam's necklace and began scanning the frozen creature. I poked around a bit and found a couple of PDAs and an injection device, but without the antidote, there wasn't really all that much for me to do. So I left and began searching the spy pangolin caves for the antidote. The first one I found didn't really have a whole lot, but I kept looking, finding another spot that also had a whole lot of
No.
The other day you had one in here, so I'm just asking.
No.
Okay.
Past the winding bridge was a supply crate.
You know what this?
Yes.
Is it all in here?
There was also some magnetite at the bottom of the cave, so I ended up
I think
bouncing the spy
Huh?
pangolin
I
back
think I
in
threw
for a
the
second
fucking.
time. I got attacked by a snow stalker while
I didn't hear you.
doing this,
I think
but
I
with
threw
my
the
box
nerds
right
box
there,
out
I was
already.
able to take care of it
Okay.
pretty
I'll
easily.
take this down.
Day 49. With the antidote procured, I began to find my way back to the frozen Leviathan cave. Luckily, the area around the cave was illuminated pretty well, so I was
I
able
need
to find my way
fucking money!
back. I made my way up the elevator,
This game.
killing Altera's Feroz specimen once and for all. On my way out, I made sure to grab the two posters from Parvin's bunker.
I love how I
Sure
try to help
coming back. But
mostly
at last,
every noob I
start seeing
can.
my sea truck. Fortunately, the prawn suit is really fast on land
But-
if you know where you're going, so I got back in no time and began to make for home.
Because of that, I have
On my way,
no
got some help from
cash.
Alan. With all the blueprints found, I could begin building him a new body. To do that, I needed to reach the fabricator base, which according to Alan was someplace very deep, and there was only one biome below the crystal caves. So as soon as I got home, I grabbed some gear and prepared to leave yet again. Day 50. I was about to leave when I remembered I actually had to get the resources to build the body, so I pinned all 3 recipes and got to work. The tissues were relatively easy. I grabbed some root pustules from the deep kelp caves and everything else I already had on hand. The skeleton was next, and that also wasn't too bad. Finally, ribbon plants alongside some kind
Toyota Corolla. Bro named his fucking sea moth or sea truck Toyota Corolla.
I wasn't 100% sure
Bruh.
where I needed to go from there, but I knew that down was probably the right direction, so I tried doing that whenever possible. Eventually, the purple crystals turned a deep red, marking my arrival at the Fabricator Caverns. I continued down past another Shadow Leviathan before eventually making it to the entrance of the base. Real quick, apparently only around 4% of my viewers are actually subscribed, so if you're enjoying the videos so far, please consider subscribing. It helps out more than you might think. Day 51. After praying that I wasn't about to get my head taken off by a recently electrocuted Shadow Leviathan, I left my sea truck and made a beeline for the base's entrance. I used the 3 fabricators, and not long after, Alan had himself a new body. But before we could leave, he still had some work to do, which was good because I also had plenty of stuff left to do. I made my way back to the sea truck and began the trek back to the Crystal Caves. Instead of immediately looking for the exit, however, I began looking for small fissures in the ground. You see, I wanted to make ion batteries and power cells now that I had the ion cubes, and to do that I'd need a bunch of silver and gold. Luckily, these are the 2 ores that the Crystal Cave fissures have in abundance. So when I got down there, I was able to get all the gold and silver that I'd hopefully ever need. I then got back in my seed truck, went home, and transferred all that gold and silver before going to bed. Day 52. After vibing to the jukebox for a bit, I decided to work on the ion technology. Apparently, ion batteries in below zero also need a lithium, which I did not remember, so I took my sea truck and set out to the purple vents, where I spent the rest of the day collecting lithium and trying not to become Chilisyrup food. Day 53. After sufficiently stripping the purple vents of rare earth metals, I made my way back home. I then spent most of the day crafting enough ion batteries so that I could have power cells for both of my vehicles and batteries for my 5 main tools. I also made one more upgrade, using some of the magnetite I'd collected to make range modules for my scanner room, upping its scan radius from 3 to 500 meters. Day 54. With the story nearly wrapped up, I decided it'd be a good time to start working on the megabase. So I grabbed my sea truck and started looking around for a good location.